Hello, I'm Scott Pearce. I'm a senior environment artist at Redhill Games. I've relocated from Melbourne to Helsinki, and I've been living in Helsinki for a year and a half. I'm originally from Australia. I've been making games for a long time in Australia. My dad, when I was younger, he would do business trips overseas to Japan, so I was exposed to early Nintendo Game & Watch. I guess, games were always in the background when I was growing up as a fun means of entertainment. But how I got involved in games, I was studying interior design and architecture at a university back in Australia. And then I graduated from my course and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but I couldn't see myself being an architect or an interior designer. I had a friend that I went to university with who had some friends that were doing interesting things with game engines. Half-Life Source, maybe the first iteration of the Half-Life engine, and I thought, making computer games is a lot more interesting than in being an interior designer. And computer games are fun, right? Like, they're a lot of fun as a medium. When you build things within the computer, it's great to put them in a game engine and then start running around, right? And seeing what that experience is like. Redhill Games popped up on my LinkedIn feed about 2 years ago. I'd seen some of the marketing stuff that Redhill Games had been putting out on YouTube, and the opportunity to work overseas in a country that I didn't know much about was pretty exciting, And I thought, if my girlfriend partner's interested in relocating, why not?
And it sounded exotic to come here. I was like, where is Helsinki? It looks cold. I was just like, oh, let's do it. I think the thing was also, I haven't seen much of Europe.
To relocate and work in Finland, you need a residence permit. But to apply for a residence permit, you have to be able to go and visit the Finnish embassy. And given how bad the COVID restrictions were at the time, in Melbourne
had the really severe lockdown. You couldn't travel 5 kilometres beyond your house.
And you're only allowed out an hour a day.
Yeah, so that's why we wanted to get out of there.
We ended up rescheduling our trip something like maybe 3 times. Packed up our belongings and had a freight company pick them up in August from my parents' place. Those belongings didn't arrive in Finland until, I think, January. We lived like students or stoics. Spartan existence we had for 4 months. Helsinki is a small, very picturesque little city, especially around the inner city CBD area. It's like living in a little fairy tale.
It's really safe. You can pretty much walk anywhere, any time of the day, everywhere.
As a foreigner, my partner, she was able to get access to a whole bunch of services.
There are lots of groups and things you can join, and I found that was the best way to kind of find out about things or get around, not just for work, to find work, but also to find things to do and meet people that way.
If you move to Finland, you have to be able to deal with the snow. The trip I've done up to Lapland has been pretty incredible. I haven't experienced anything like that at all. It's very, very unique.
The library is really good. At first, I lived at the library pretty much at Uri. You can do everything there.
They've even got Euro Rack at Udi.
Yeah.
Which is, it's kind of mental when you think about it.
3D model printers, sewing machines, sound recording, and lots of books and publications, and it's just a nice place to sit.
I enjoy work, but I like spending time away from the computer, so I do things like running. You know, I've done a few runs in -10, -12 degrees, so that's a pretty interesting novel experience. You know, I'll plug my headphones into one of my drum machines and sort of come up with rhythms and design little percussive sounds and then play them back. And then, you know, with the electric guitar, sometimes I'll plug that in and play an E minor chord that'll drag on for 4 hours because I really like slow, loud, noisy music. The lifestyle I have here is very different, right, to the one that I have back in Australia. But you know, if you want to have kids, this place is, and you want a good education, I think that Finland is streets ahead of, and there are more opportunities overseas than there are if I stayed back in Australia.